Okay. You guys have been recorded.
I feel so awkward.
Guys, it's literally nothing. You've been recorded before.
Are people gonna listen to this?
I don't know.
People actually
I don't think so. Although one of my videos got like 7 views once.
Oh my gosh. It must have been like one of the skip days.
Yes, it was a skip day or a day where you guys had something. So I don't know. Am I like ready to like monetize yet? Off my YouTube?
Yeah. Make money.
Yeah.
Oh.
We got 7 views, maybe like 15 views total.
That's impressive.
We're going viral. All right, here we go, really quick. By the way, this won't be a full. You'll have some time to do some other stuff at the end. I have this other thing I want to do. Where's Lily? Who else are missing? John, right? Okay, I'll mark them in a second. All right, really quick. You should know the tangent, like tangent of 45 is radical 2 over 2. So cotan of 45. No, wrong. So the sine of 45 is radical 2 over 2. So the cosecant is 2 over radical 2, which is the same as 2 radical 2 over 2, which is radical 2. If you flip it, and that's the same as secant. Now, I will, like I said, whenever Miss Carson comes, I'll ask her about rationalizing for the MCC final. But just make sure you're good with at least getting the setup right. 2, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, 5. Oh, yeah, so using the trig identities, it wanted you to say, okay, your big identity that we did is sine squared plus cosine squared equals 1, correct? Okay? So sine, that's what you can find, sine squared plus cosine. Now, some of you are actually drawing pictures, which I thought was cool. You're drawing pictures with the x being 0.96. Acute means you're in quadrant 1. So you could draw this in quadrant 1, but watch. You end up doing Pythagorean. It's 0.96 squared equals 1. Okay? Again, I don't know why, but.
No. You cannot.
Piper?
You cannot put that on YouTube.
Okay, I won't.
Thank you.
Piper, there's like 7 views total.
But then people can go look at it.
Yeah, but do you think people are actually going to?
I don't know, but it's really good.
It is not okay.
Yes, it is.
I think I need to like refer you to one of my counselor friends.
Your like mental counselor?
Yes. Because I'm kind of worried. Like listen. Why do you use these friends? I hit it by accident. It doesn't matter anything. So if I do 1 minus this, we can notice I use scratch pad. I'm a big anti-scratch pad person, but it just happened. Then I take the square root. So you're just doing Pythagorean theorem. So you should have gotten 0.28 for cosine or sine, excuse me, right? Yes. Whether you drew a picture, it's the same thing. So 0.28, okay. So that's that. Now, what it wanted you to then find was tangent. Well, what they wanted you to do instead of another trig identity is they wanted you to recognize tangent as sine over cosine. So in this case, that would be 0.28 over 0.96. That's how you do it. So you divide that by 0.96, and you get 0.291667. I don't know what it says around to. Doesn't matter. 2917 will say. Okay. So that was using 2 of the main identities. Really, guys, it wanted you to start recognizing that sine squared plus cosine squared equals 1 is one of your main identities. We good, Ava S? Okay. What?
MCC, do they recommend like a rounded version of it or just like a fraction of 1/15?
I don't know. I'll find out.
Oh, okay.
If tan theta equals 2, they usually tell you what conjugate they want, so I'm hoping they still do. But when I meet with her, I'm going to go over all that stuff. So cotangent is a hat. That should have been easy. Again, you could draw the picture. It wanted secant, or you could have just done this. 1 plus tan squared equals secant squared. That's one of your big identities, right? So it'll be 1 plus 2 squared equals secant squared. So that's 5. So secant of theta equals the square root of 5. And we're going to go positive here because it's an acute angle. Everything's positive in quadrant 1. Technically, when you take a square root, you do the plus or minus, right? But we're going to do the plus because we're in quadrant 1. All right, and I think these were the ones we actually did in the notes. Remember with an identity, the big is you can't combine sign. So for this one, I'd want you to write sine over cosine times 1 over sine. Those go away, so you get 1 over cosine is secant, which equals secant. Everyone good with that? Okay. And then this ends up being cosecant squared theta minus 1. And again, all you're doing is rearranging this guy. This is the other Pythagorean identity right here. This is true. So if you make cosecant squared minus 1, what are you going to have left on the other side? Cotangent squared. All you have to do is like show me that work off to the side. Okay. See, I rearrange this, and now I have what I want. Okay. So. Okay. Everyone good with those? Okay. All right. Here's what I want you to do is a quick warm up. Start with sines. Oh, did I pass this out?
Yeah.
Oh, good. What, Lucy? A lot happens in this room in 3 minutes. We're a center and beacon of learning. Like, you know, we're a hub of learn. That's where I'm not gonna call this a classroom. We're gonna start calling this a hub of learning.
It sounds like a millennial would say that.
It sounds like
A millennial?
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like Minecraft. It literally sounds like Minecraft.
Wait a minute. How old are you if you're a millennial?
In the 30s.
Let me look it up.
Can
Can I look it up?
20s or 30s.
Look up someone born in 1981.
No, millennials.
I don't know. Okay, look it up.
Only a
All right.
one bar service.
What?
Only a 1 bar service, so.
Yeah, I know the service is
Take
terrible. All right, hey, here we go. Shh.
Wait.
Anyone born between 1980 and 1995?
80 and 95 is a what?
Millennial.
I'm a millennial? Oh, I didn't even know. Okay, so what are you guys then?
Gen Z.
Gen Z. You were born in what year?
2005.
2005, really? 4. Any 6s? Yay, Aaron. Any other 6s?
John is probably.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, here we go. I want you to take this formula and derive the other 2. I have to go over to my computer and switch screens so that we can do attendance on the other one.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Piper. So please work on those 2. So think about how I derived the other 2, okay? So we're missing John and Lily. Okay. No, it should be short today. Okay. Laurel, which one did you do first? Okay, so what did you divide each term by? You divided everything by sine squared. Is she right? Okay, so watch. 1 cosine over sine is cotangent squared equals what, Laurel? Yeah, I should write thetas here, excuse me, yep. That's one of them. That's all you have to do. Okay? That's you. Okay, what should you do on the next one? Divide by what then, guys? Cosine squared. Okay, cosine squared over cosine squared goes away, it's 1. What's sine over cosine? Tangent, so you end up with tan squared theta plus 1. 1 over cosine is secant. That's all I need to see, okay? That will be one of the questions on your next celebration. Okay, what, Laurel? It's not that bad.
Celebration of sadness.
You're mean. It's not as you have fun during test days in here, don't you?
No.
Yeah, because you help us.
That doesn't mean I have fun. It means I have less sadness.
It's only fun if I'm doing well.
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Couple things to remember here. Just one more time. I know we've talked about it a ton. You have a point XY on the unit circle. That's circles. Let me start over. Remember, we've talked about this a ton. And today is pretty easy. It's kind of like review, but I just want to make sure you're good. Remember, x is paired with the cosine of theta. Y is paired with the sine of theta. And tangent of theta is y over x, opposite over adjacent. We've reviewed it. We've done all this. We've done all this multiple times, right? And of course, y goes with sine, and x goes with cosine. Okay, so tangent, that's where tangent and sine over cosine. So from that, then you can certainly say, okay, well that's why cotangent equals cosine over sine. Everyone good with that? And of course, last, by Pythagorean theorem, you have y squared plus x squared equals 1 squared. Y is equal to sine, so you have sine squared theta plus cosine squared theta equals 1, where the big identity comes from. Okay, so that's the big stuff you should know. If you're good with that, I think you'll be all set. Okay? Where's my mouse? Oh, here it is. 31, right?
Wow. That was really great. We should have a celebration for that.
I learned. That's like how I feel about you guys. Oh, you did something. Yay. Give you guys a what a mess. What?
Thinking the comments on tests when you get 100 average.
Decent.
Okay, go to the top of the next page. I know. Well, what do you want? Do you need constant praise?
No, I like
Yeah,
more stickers. And I like the scratch stickers.
What, Ava?
I
I think I have some. I gotta look. Fruity one? Were they fruit?
You only got one of
I never scratched them.
All right, here we go. With a friend, really quick. I'll give you about 3 minutes. Work on that one. It gives you a point, -3, -7. It says find the 6 trig functions. Let's work on that, please. days. Not my favorite. Not because of you guys this period. I have study hall next period. It's a lunch study hall.
You
And
don't like having you instead of one?
Maddie, you and Gio are fine. The thing with study halls that I like better, I like full period ones better because it's just like I have to just like
By the time you take attendance, it's like
by the time
20
I do
minutes.
attendance and I deal with all the negotiations about bathrooms and math labs and going to see this person and that person, so it's like I gotta repeat. But ours is actually okay. It's pretty quiet. It's fine. I mean, it's a lunch study hall. It's okay. But is anyone going to the Webster Village Christmas stuff tomorrow? Holiday stuff. You are, Ava? What are you gonna be doing there?
I live in the village, so I'm gonna do that. But I'm still going to it.
Oh, okay. My wife wants to bring our daughter. Now, we don't really. I think we're still scared of Santa in person.
Oh boy.
So I'm not sure if we're gonna try to go see Santa. We might just walk her around for a little bit. It's outside, so I'm sure everyone will feel safer. But like, I don't know. Yes, Maddie, what were you gonna say?
The parade is fun.
The parade is really fun.
When's that?
It's like on the.
It's on Saturday. Is it later?
Oh, it's Saturday.
Yeah,
Well, the thing on Saturday is like from 3 to 6. So maybe the parade's at the end.
I think the parade is at the end and it's.
Is it
I
gonna be
just don't
dark?
know, it's.
Yeah.
It's normally dark.
It's dark and there's like flashing lights, so I don't know how you guys.
Oh, we went to that last year. They did a modified one. They did it over at the Xerox thing. Oh, and there were all the community groups out there. And I felt bad for like.
We were there.
I was there.
Were you there for like dancers?
Yeah, we were there.
Yeah.
Okay, we did. We drove through there, and she liked that. We'll see. All right. What's the hypotenuse? Root 58. So from here, theta, we're going to do sine, cosine, tangent. All right, what's the sine of theta going to be, guys? Raise your hand if you can tell me. What's the sine of theta? Kira.
Over.
Thank you. All these can be rationalized too, but let's just get through them. Cosine. Someone else. Laurel, what's cosine? Thank you. And then I don't know. Aaron M, did you get tan?
3/7.
Almost.
7/3.
I think you want to do 7/3, right? Opposite over adjacent. So Aaron, though, your answer would have been right for cotangent.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what she was talking about.
I know. She's ahead of her time. Negative radical 58/7 for cosecant, and secant would be negative radical 58/3. It's not funny. My health.
You're like red.
No, it's not. Listen, all those years to make a few bucks in high school. I told you I shine shoes, right? Yeah, the turpentine. All those years. And so that, some guy could walk by, throw a buck in the dirty, smelly shoes, and it's okay. It was just weird. I know you guys are at the stage now where you're doing jobs that, you probably won't have for your whole, I don't know, maybe, but. Never worked at a golf course again, Lucy?
So now, wait to
Oh my god, I hate that place.
You can get a job anywhere.
I know. By the way, I saw Chipotle's hiring $15 an hour.
Dang.
Yeah.
Or just be
Well, they
like,
have to learn to make
I love
burritos.
you want white rice or brown?
Hey, I will say, it does seem kind of fast paced in there sometimes. I'm sure the speed goes up and down. But like, I saw a sign, and I was like, 15 an hour?
That's how I was.
All right, the quadrant angles. You guys should know those, okay? Here's what I wanted to try on the next page. Don't worry about this chart. What I want you to do now with a friend or with a neighbor or by yourself, work on these two without a calculator though. So I'd like you to try no calculator, and then we'll draw our little diagram. So Try to do these without a calculator if you can. If you need to do the conversions with a calculator to degrees, go ahead. But I'd like you to try this without a calculator. You can do it. We're going to use our brains, your little noggins. All right. How about this? 4 pi over 3. What I'd like you to be able to think about, I'm assuming a lot of you converted this. Did you guys try to convert this in your head? What is that, 240?
260.
No, 240. It won't be 260. It's got to be 240. Now, but if you want, if you did it in radians, just watch. There's 4 pi over 3. Remember, 180 is like pi, which is 3 pi over 3. So your reference angle is pi over 3, which is 60. So you can think about it in terms of radians. But I'm imagining a lot of you probably made it 240. Reference angle 60. 1/2 radical 3 over 2. And they both get a negative, correct? So what do you guys get for an answer? No calculator. Kira? Kira. Adjacent, Kira. I got it right here. Thank you. Negative 1/2. If I come in someday and tell you that I have more chronic major health problems, you're going to feel really bad.
Don't say that. I will feel really bad.
What?
I will. That's sad.
I know, but you people make me sad and you sit there and just laugh.
Well,
Well, now you know we're not allowed to laugh, it makes it even more funny.
Okay, this one you would probably make 150. Okay, 150 is in the second quadrant. That's your 30, so reference angle's 30 there. That's your 30, 60, 90, so 1/2 radical 3 over 2 and 1. The only one that gets a negative is the negative radical 3 over 2. You see how after doing enough of these, it just becomes like kind of second nature. What's tangent going to be? Raise your hand if you can tell me. What would your fractions be? What would tan be? Come on, see a whole bunch of hands up. Let's go. Oh, Maddie, go ahead.
Is it negative 1 over 3?
Yeah, it's 1/2 over negative radical 3 over 2, so those go away. You're going to put negative 1 over root 3. Or, that's obviously negative radical 3 over 3. Okay. You guys feeling pretty good about the unit circle stuff and the 6 trig functions? All right, just be careful, make sure you understand, if they give you something like this, sine is 1/3 and it's in quadrant 2, so that would be opposite over hypotenuse, right? You gotta make sure, and then this side would be what? Radical 8, which you can simplify, but just be careful when you're doing the identities, is that radical 8 positive or negative? Negative. And then you could do so cosine would be negative radical 8 over 3, and tangent is sine over cosine, so it's 1 over negative radical 8 or rationalize it. Okay, so just be careful. That's why pictures are very helpful since it's at quadrant 2. But then make sure you're accounting for the positive and negatives. Okay, what's positive, what's negative? All right, last thing. Everyone good to hear? Okay. I will give you like, I don't know. You can work your way around. I want you to take 5 over 4. Oh, this should be 5 over 6. This should be 5 over 3. So I'll fix it. See if you can fill that in as much as you can without really a calculator. Sine, cosine, and tangent of 0, pi over 6, pi over 4, pi over 3, and pi over 2. If you need to think about what those are in degrees, go ahead. I don't mind if you work with a friend, but let's see if we can do it. And then we'll finish up. Okay, let's go through the zeros. In case you won't, you can always write this. Sine is y, cosine x, tangent is y over x, or sine over cosine. What's the sine of 0? Sine of 0 is 0. The y value of 0 is 0. What's the cosine of 0? So tangent 0 over 1 is 0. That works. That's fine. Let's do 90 while we're at it. Let's go over jump right to 90. You should notice a lot of these just flip. Well, sine is 1, cosine 0. But now the tangent, this is undefined because that's 1 over 0. Okay, let's start at 30. Pi over 6 is 30. What's the sine of 30? 1/2. Now this is how I remember it. Watch. This is a half. So go over to 60. Cosine of 60 is a half. Because they're literally on the picture together. One's adjacent, one's opposite. All right, raise your hand if you can tell me the cosine of 30. Vicky? 33 over 2, so that's the same as the sine of 60. They literally alternate. And then tangent, you just divide them. So this would be 1 over radical 3. You can rationalize it to root 3 over 3. And this is root 3 over 1. Everyone good at that? And last but not least, I don't know, Piper, what are both your legs in a 45? Thank you. So Piper, that makes tangent very easy. What is it? 1. Do you have to have this memorized? No. If you have the triangles memorized, you can kind of work your way through this, right? If you do know these kind of quickly, you will save yourself a lot of time. The AP Calc exam, which I know seems a lifetime away, is a timed exam. So speed is a little bit of, not totally, you can take your time, but even the MCC, technically you get 2 hours. So, all right. The problems I asked the other class to look at were in 4.4. I think I had them do 2, I'll write these down. 2, 3, 5, and 6. I'll write it down. So 4.4, 2, 3, 5, and 6. Okay? And that should, give you something to practice. It's more of this. I know we've done a lot of it, but hopefully you understand how important it is. All right, any questions? All right, I'm gonna stop recording now. Is that, can I put the thing back up then?